Hi, I'm Susie from Out West Homestead. The dogs are playing under the table. Hey, it's Belle. It's Belle and Sonny. Go on. I don't know why they want to play right when I want to talk. Anyway, I'm from southern New Mexico, and thanks for coming by. I do have some sad news this morning. I went out and feed the chickens, and I couldn't find Red John. And I found him in the chicken house, and he was dead. I don't know. He was doing so good and healthy and just normal. About a week ago, I found one of his hens dead also in the chicken house. Like they weren't feeling good, and they went in there where it was a little darker. So I don't know what's the matter with them. I heard G-Bear talk about there's a chicken virus going on, and he had 3 of his girls die, his chickens, and which I hadn't heard much about it, and I hope that's not the case. So I don't know what happened to Red John. He was very strong, didn't show no sign of sickness. Yesterday he ate, he just normal, and then I found him dead. So that group of girls is without a rooster, and Barbara, when them chicks get bigger that she hatched out for me, she's going to bring them down. And I was wanting them in the area and let them grow up around Red John, because you know he's really a good rooster, and I was wanting them little chicks to learn from him. And but I'm really sad about Red John dying. I raised all them roosters since they'd been babies, and he was very special. He was very kind, very nice. When he was growing up, he loved Bill. He used to sit in Bill's lap, and he was just a nice, gentle rooster. Didn't bother nobody. So I miss him now. But anyway, I just want to tell you about Red John. He went to chicken heaven. Oh, hey. All right, sit down. The table's moving because Sonny is underneath the table. I just want to tell you about Red John dying. I hope it's not a chicken virus. I heard about it, but I hope it's not that. So I wanted to say on another thing, I'm a affiliated, Amazon affiliated person with the Amazon link, and I was doing bad on it. When I first started that link up, I didn't know what I was doing, and I had it for a long time, and so I got a report from Amazon. We might have to take your Amazon link off, affiliated off. Well, we called Amazon to find out what's going on, because I thought I was doing it right, but I wasn't. So I did figure how to do it. And then a few months later, they give us another report, and that report said we weren't doing was still warning us that we weren't doing no good. So I thought, oh, they're going to take it down, I know. And so anyway, the other day we got on the computer that everything's good to go. That we're doing all right. And I thought, well, what happened? But they said that, you know, it's okay. and they're not going to take it down. So I appreciate all of you that has been using that link to help us out, help our homestead out. It brought us back from the blink because I thought for sure we weren't going to be able to do it. And so I really appreciate all of you that try to help me on that Amazon link. It's really helped. They said we're good now, and I really appreciate it. I always figure if they take it off when my channel gets bigger, whenever it does, maybe I'll try it again. But so far so good, so I'm happy about that, and I'm just real happy. We hadn't made no money on it or anything, but I guess it's going to take a while to do it, because it don't mount up to too much, but for us a little bit helps. So some people have been asking me, you know, more about comfrey, that plant to make comfrey tea, and instead of writing it down and repeating it a lot, I'm just going to tell about it, because some people don't know about comfrey tea. There's a lot on the internet you can look at, and people probably know more than I do, but we got it for a fertilizer, a natural fertilizer, and I do believe that's about all you need on fertilizing for natural. The roots of a comfrey, usually when you buy comfrey, you'll get root starts, and even them root starts you can cut little slices out of about an inch and put them in a pot and grow them, and put them out in your garden. They just grow a whole lot, and they give you a whole lot of roots. And so if you get you 3-4 root of comfrey, you can chop them up, and then you can have 15 to 20. It just depends on how many roots you got. So when I first got some, I divided them like that, and then the next year I divide more, and then I just kept dividing them. And they really get lush and green, and have bees come to their flowers. It's kind of like a purple pink flower. It's real pretty. And you can, with the leaf, you can call what they call chop and drop. You can just cut it down and go take it to places by your garden, put it in the middle of the row or around trees, and then when it rots and it finally just goes into the soil, it'll fertilize your plant. What happened, them roots, they go down deep. Usually if you try to move the comfrey once it's grown up, you'll break it off, because the roots are more than shovel deep. It just goes on down. So you'll always have comfrey in that spot usually, and it'll come back up. It's just an amazing plant. So the roots, they absorb all the minerals in your soil, and it just takes from your soil and it feeds the plant. So so you can either chop and drop it, or else put it in a bucket, put leaves in a bucket of water, and you can let it sit there a month, and then start using the water for your tomatoes and stuff. The garden plants love comfrey. This last bunch I had, it was my winter comfrey I had, and I never did use it. So what happened, it really concentrated. The leaves just about disappeared because it just kind of melted into the 5-gallon bucket. So I don't like to use it pure strength like that when it's cooked all winter. So we dilute it, and that's fine, it don't hurt. But so if you was going to cut some comfrey leaves off, I would just put them in a bucket, just pack it, if your plant was big enough. So you pack up the the leaves in a bucket and then fill it with water and put a lid on it and just let it sit. And you might not, your leaves might not dissolve, but you can still have that comfrey tea, that water. And they call it comfrey tea because it's like a tea looking. And it does get smelly, and the more it ages, the more smelly it gets. It's kind of like a cow manure or something. But the plants love it. Sonny loves it. He likes drinking it. But yeah, if you get comfrey, to me that's all of the nutrients you mostly need, because it pulls up all kinds of nutrients in the ground and takes it to the leaf to feed the leaf. It's just a great plant. But I think I heard somebody you could eat that, but I don't know if I'd want to eat a comfrey plant or not. You'd have to really check around first. I mean, if I was starving, I might. But comfrey is a really great plant. I think every garden there is should have comfrey in it to help the health of the garden. It just makes your garden healthy. And if you don't want to make the tea, the leaves are just fine. Just throw the leaves around, and when you chop on it, it smells good. It has a nice green smell. It's a great plant. So my last thing, let's see. No, I was going to tell you. There was a shooting not too off. This guy got killed back in here, and come find out, we know the guy. The guy was about 53 years old, and he used to live over by the foothills with us, and I think he still lived over there. But he always had a bad reputation. He was, every time we talked to him, he was real nice, and he liked to steal, you know, and people caught him doing stuff, and when he did stuff, the cops didn't do much about it because he would turn in drug dealers. That guy, he seemed as nice as can be, but his reputation was always bad, and I don't know the story why he got shot and killed, but his life, what we know of it, always been rough. And anyway, we found out the other day. We knew, we thought it was his kin because we knew the last name, but someone finally told us who it was. And I thought, well, you know, he only get up to 53 years old, and then that's it, because he led a bad life and he was still doing it. And I'm quite sad about it, because the guy was a real nice guy. But it was just the life he always knew, I guess, and just rough. And he was kind of like a, you know, I guess a robber. But the cops never really did much about it. And people was mad about it too, because every time he'd get in trouble, he'd get off of it, because he would turn in somebody that he knew had drugs. So he got away with it. And I don't know what in the world happened or anything, but we're kind of sad about it, because, you know, we did know that guy. So the West is still the West. Robbing and shooting. So I want to tell that gossip. So let's see. My last thing, because I've been thinking about coyotes lately. When coyotes are around here, you'll hear at night one call out here, but then you can hear other coyote calls, and they answer each other. And you'll be surprised how close and where they're at. because they're all over. So that, you know, it's like somebody will go, "Where are you?" And then all the other coyotes go, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here." And I thought, well, they're all over the place, you know, at night. It's so quiet out there, you wouldn't even think they're out there. But when one wants to find them, he'll call for them and he'll know the location. But we're down in the Guadalupe Mountains, south of us, southeast. There's a mountain range down there. And so we drove down there. We always like to go down there. It's too far to go, so we go sometimes. One time we went through there, and it was spring, and I tell you, you thought you was in Wonderland. The desert was blooming, and just driving on them back roads, you could just smell all the flowers, all the aroma. And the desert hills, you could see the flowers going up the hills. It was just like they got a rain and everything bloomed. So that air was so smelling so good. So and that Guadalupe, it's the same area the antelope was racing by the truck with us. So it's a wild area, and them antelope didn't even think about being scared of us. So we went camping there, and one night, well, at our campsite, I was looking around, and there was a desert bush, and I was looking at it, and right by the desert bush was a like a bear track, but it's for coyotes, small. It was about this big. It was sprung. It was shut. And I told Bill, I said, boy, I hate them. Maybe we can pull it up and go throw it away where they can't find it. And we could, and they had it tied to the ground real hard. And I guess they come through there once in a while setting them traps. So, you know, we had dogs with us and stuff. So that night, I was laying there, and I could hear this coyote kind of off. And I was laying there listening to that coyote, and he was calling. Coyote, he would cry out, "Is anybody there?" And I was listening too. And he would get quiet, and nothing. Then he'd do it again. And it was quite sad. I was listening too. Bill heard it. You know, he was listening. He did it only 3 times, and then he didn't cry out no more. I guess he went on. And I thought, well, see, up in that that area, on top of that mountain, there's a cattle association, and they run their cows on it. But I guess they either poisoned, trapped out, shot all the coyotes, because that poor coyote, he was looking, and nobody responded back. There wasn't another coyote that could hear him. And I thought that was, you know, a sad thing. But I had heard, you know, cows being quite wild down there in the Guadalupes, because it's such a big range. A lot of times they don't see nobody. And so when we was driving through there heading home, these cows come up, and there was some pens, and we drove by, you know, a place where somebody comes and feeds them or checks on them. And we was going through there about 5 o'clock in the evening. So the cows were up, and so this we passed this guy. We stopped, and what happened when we was looking at them cows? They was standing around, looked like they was waiting to be fed. There's a cow with its horn growed into his head, and I thought, oh my gosh, that cow, poor cow. I could just imagine how that cow felt. And So this guy come and Bill waves him down. He said, is that your cows back in there around that corral? And that guy goes, yeah. And Bill says, well, you got a cow with a horn in its head. That guy did not like Bill saying that. He says, he got, you know, kind of mad about it. He says, well, they run hundreds of acres. I can't always find that cow. And that's a big old lie, because he was heading down there take care of them. And cows, they usually have a time they know to come up, either for bed or for water or something. You know, they got time, and the rancher knows what time the cows will come up, and that's why he was headed there, because he knew the cows were going to be there. He was just lying, and he was just too lazy to dehorn that cow to fix it, and now it had that horn growed into that skull. And I thought, how terrible. He was just lazy, didn't care. But you could tell he didn't like Bill telling him that. But some ranchers are, you know, good about taking care of their animals, and some are lazy and just let them do whatever. In this area out here, I got most of my cow skulls out there, because the people that lease the land, they don't pay attention to their cow. They just want them to live off the land, and cows cannot live off desert land very good without being taken care of. But anyway, that's my rant about cows. So I guess I better go. I just wanted to say about my affiliate link. I appreciate it so much. And I want to tell you about Red John. I sure hate to lose him. And I want to talk about my comfrey. You know, that is a special plant to have. So I just, and I want to talk about the lonely coyote. So that was my subjects for this video. So I appreciate y'all coming by. Thank you very much. From Out West Homestead. Bye.